Play here. I kind of feel like elf balling people. Yeah, let's elf ball some people. The elf deck's a gas. I probably should have looked at the elf deck to see if these cards were still reasonable. But yeah, you know, whatever. Play. The most expensive card in Hex is currently Vampire King. I believe it costs it's like it fluctuates between like $30 and $40 a copy. No! God, I haven't played against an Extinction deck in forever. And the first time we queue in with the deck that can't beat an Extinction deck, we get paired against an Extinction deck. Go figure. That's how that works, right? So these are two different types of dual shards. So this is the one we saw previously where it makes either resource, either threshold, but it doesn't give us a resource this turn. This is a tribal resource. It gives either threshold or gains 3 life, but it requires elf allegiance. So we have to have an elf in our hand or in play in order for it to work. Thankfully, this is an elf deck, so we got a bunch of elves in our hand. Choose Ruby here. How much in USD is 500 plats? That's $5. 100 plat equals $1, or 1 plat is 1 penny. Approximately speaking. People always ask me when we're playing what's the best way to get started in Hex. The best way I say is just make a free account and try the PvE campaign. It doesn't cost you anything. And we got all of these. So this card is a 1/1 that when it attacks, I gain a resource. So it is an aggressive accelerant, basically. We did not put the Lixil deck together. We could do that after this Elf Gauntlet. And go ahead and gain a second Ruby threshold here, and after I do that, we get to go ahead and play out this Visage of the Masquerade. So Visage is this is one of my favorite cards in this set. So it's a 2/2 for 2 with speed. So if we play it pre-combat, it can attack right away. And whenever we play a card that costs 5 or more, we get to copy all of our Visages in play. So my opponent revealed 3 cards there because this is a 2-cost 1/1. Then when it comes into play, my opponent reveals the bottom 3 cards of their deck and puts all actions revealed this way into their hand. I'm going to go ahead and play out another Visage here because it can attack since I have the resources now. We drew an Emberleaf Invoker. This is a 7-cost 5/3 with Crush that its cost gets reduced by 1 for every damage you deal to your opponent in a turn. So I'm going to go ahead and attack with everything here. I'm just going to attack with everything. This is not... We have a small Wild Splash for Periwinkle in the reserves and Maw of the Hunt in the main deck. So my opponent's blocking my 1/1 with his 1/1. I'm going to go ahead and Crushing Blow my guy, which gives it Crush, which is effectively Trample, and it gives it +2/+2. So you see we dealt 6 damage to my opponent, which makes this cost 1, but unfortunately I don't have a shard, so I can't play it out just yet. Yeah, Crush is worded like Trample in Magic, basically. The way you want to think about it. Main deck Vampire Prince. So this card's gross. I wish I had my Crushing Blow. So this is a 2/2 with Flight and Life Drain. And when it deals damage when it attacks and deals damage to me, my opponent has a chance to steal an action from my hand. So I really want to draw one of my Crackling Bolts or another Crushing Blow now. Alright, so I drew a resource. What does that do for me? I'm going to play this Visage of the Masquerade out. I think I'm just shipping with all my squad here. If my opponent doesn't have Extinction here, this Emberleaf Invoker coming into play could be enough to win the game. So we do 5 to my opponent here, and they gain 2 back from their life drain. That makes Emberleaf Invoker cost 2, and even though it only costs 2, it's still a 7 drop. So when I played the Emberleaf Invoker, both of my Visage of the Masquerades doubled. So Extinction is a 4-cost sweeper that we're basically just going to concede to here. And he's attacking, so that probably means he has Extinction. I guess I didn't think this through, but I mean, if he has Extinction, we're just dead anyways, so. He hit me with that, which takes away my thing. So, much like the red-white humans decks in Standard don't beat Languish, we just don't beat the 4-cost sweeper. It doesn't matter. Like, if he was attacking, that meant... If he was attacking to get the kiss, that meant he had the sweeper, and we were never beating the sweeper. I'm going to go ahead and cut this Pheromones card, which makes something basically a lure effect. It makes my opponent must block something. I'm going to bring in some Crimson Bolts to kill his annoying vampires in the air. Burn doesn't really do anything in this matchup, so I'm going to cut those. The opponent really doesn't have anything that Burn kills that's super relevant. And I'm bringing 2 Ember Spire Witches as well. This card is a 2/2 Swift Strike that says champions can't gain life, so their vampires won't gain them life. They bring Crimson Bolt to deal with the vampires in the sky, and we... Crimson Bolt to deal with some of the vampires, and again, the plan is just like try and get under their extinction and kill them. The extinction matchups are bad for this deck. 1 resource, draw again. Alright, Sands medium. 3 and 3. So this card, Voice of the Ash, was one we haven't seen yet. It's a 1/2 for 2 that every time it attacks, it permanently gains 1 power. And whenever this deals damage to my opponent, I gain resources equal to the amount of damage it dealt. So play Voice of the Ashwood out here. It's okay, Sam. I'll forgive you if you go to bed. I'll be here chugging along. He has the rabbit again, which finds him 2 shards hit again. Oh, there's a sweeper in there, though. That's good for us. It's 1 less sweeper that could be in his hand. Again, just want to pressure our opponent into hopefully not having it. Opponent has to discard because they drew 2 off the Cottontail. He discarded a vampire. That can't possibly be good for me. Vampires are some of his best cards. Nah, the Winter Moon control... Well, I guess the Winter Moon control deck doesn't match up well against the Boris deck that we played against last round, but that deck hasn't been super popular lately, so I guess it's kind of up in the air. Ugh, just drawing mono shards. We just haven't drawn a non-shard this game, right? Yeah. So I'm going to activate my champion ability. What my champion ability does is it gives all elves I have in play and in my deck +1 power permanently. So I'm not going to play out my Ember Spire Witch because if my opponent has Extinction next turn, I kind of want to play around it. But I guess we should probably just run it out because we're just not beating that card. Alright, and he doesn't have it, so that means we'd be up +2 points. Yeah, I think I was just supposed to jam this. I think I'm just, like, never beating the Extinction, so I shouldn't try. Vampire Princess, yeah. Alright, I wouldn't have been attacking with it anyways, which is good to know. So I'll play Ember Spire Witch out, which says my opponents can't gain life, so that way if he trades his Vampire Princess with one of my idiots here, he doesn't gain life. Probably going to trade it with the 5/2, I assume. And again, I don't think we can win if my opponent has Extinction, so I'm just going to play this out. So this is a 3/2 with Flight and Empower. So Empower is when it's in our hand, we can double all the numbers on it. And when this attacks, it deals damage equal to its power to 1 random opposing champion or troop. You gonna sweep me up? Oh, you got a Cottontail Explorer back. That's not an Extinction. Alright, GG's. That's literally the first Extinction deck we've played against in a gauntlet all day. And this deck just never, ever, ever beats an extinction. In fact, the deck that my opponent's playing against, the Rabbit Rock Kaigalichu mid-range deck, it's kind of a Jund style deck or a green-black X style deck from Modern. That deck got popular, and I put this deck down because that deck got popular. Which card on my deck? I like Visage of the Masquerade. I really like that card. No, there was an extinction in his crypt, so maybe he wanted to try and draw that one out of his crypt. This hand's medium. My opponent's deck tends to have some removal in it. This hand only has one threat, but this hand also has a bunch of removal in it as well, so we can maybe play a little bit of a longer game. I mean, the actual answer is that it really just doesn't matter, because we weren't beating the one extinction in his hand, so it didn't matter if he had a higher chance of returning a second one to his hand. I hate that the TCG browser site uses the stupid exclamation point and the hashtag in it, because the links don't copy anywhere properly. Like, I wanted to link to my Hex TCG browser page underneath my Twitch, and the URL doesn't work. The actual answer is it doesn't matter, because I lose to the first extinction. So it doesn't matter if he has a higher probability of getting an extinction back. Maybe he doesn't want to draw a second extinction because he knows the first one is so ball busting it just doesn't matter. It's very possible that just like he doesn't want to redraw an extinction because the first one's going to be so nut busting, he just doesn't need to cast another one afterwards. Maybe he's got threats and spot removal in his hand, and after he casts the extinction, he's going to play a threat and then doesn't want another extinction to play. If a card is overpowered, it will be banned from competitive play. There's one card that's been banned from Hex's competitive play out of the four sets now. Well, let's see if he kills my Voice of the Asteroid. If he kills my Voice of the Asteroid, this hand's a little bit on E. Thankfully, our deck's full of troops, so hopefully we just find another one. Yep, has a burn. Yeah, you just said the extinction decks. Like, I said it doesn't beat an extinction. But we also hadn't played against an extinction today. That's awkward. This card is for the Boris Blastforge matchup, which I should probably cut this from my main deck because the Boris decks become a lot less popular. Oh, this is Sam. Okay. He said he was waiting to try and Q into me, and he picked up a better deck. Alright, there's the Knob Gobbler. Let's see if he's got a combat training or something for it. Hey, Patty BMTG. Yep, we did. We did, in fact. And I'm gonna, yep, Seeing Red. Let's burn this dork down. So Seeing Red permanently gives something 3 power and gives it must attack. The Gobbler basically must attack anyways, so we get a 2-for-1 out of that at least. Opponent can activate his champion ability, though, and start crashing in with a Bumblebot. Really just want to draw a troop so we can start beating down. Well, this card is interesting. This is the only non-elf in our deck. It's a dinosaur that says when an elf we control deals damage to our opponent, we can play this for free if we have a wild threshold. I think this matchup's good for us on average. My opening hand wasn't great. Keeping a threat light hand wasn't good. And this Pheromones card is basically a mulligan in this matchup. It just doesn't do anything. So this is a lure effect. It makes everything have to block a troop that you target. So like in boards that come up, you can put this on one of your idiot troops and then sneak everything else past them. So he powered up his guard with a combat training. We're going to go ahead and burn it out. Can't be blocked. Interesting. There's a troop. So let's go ahead and put Visage of the Masquerade out here. And we're going to get to combo our opponent here a little bit. So when Visage, again, this card splits every time we play something that costs 5 or more. And Maw of the Hunt says we get to play it for free when this hits my opponent. So we're going to attack with the Visage. There he's going to take damage. Even if he blocks, we can Crushing Blow it through. And then we're going to play this Maw of the Hunt for free and double our Visage. Yep, we're going to Crushing Blow through his guy. So my opponent's going to take 3 here because this guy only has 1 toughness. And then this Maw comes into play for free, which splits this Visage in half. Or doubles it up, I should say. So now we've gone from 2 power to 7 power on the table. And the neat thing here is the copy of the Visage will also double. So if we find another Maw of the Hunt or something else that costs 5 or more, we'll get 2 more Visages next time. That's true. I do have to shave tomorrow. Today. It's technically today, right? It's Sunday. Almost 6 o'clock. So this is 3 draws in the bank. That's probably not going to be very good against our aggressive presence here on the board. Hopefully we're going to kill him before he gets to draw all those cards. Double it down. Yep. Hopefully we hit a Evoker or a Maw of the Hunt here. Alright, so let's go ahead and play this Wild Chart out, which is me activate my champion ability. So again, this gives all of my elves +1 power. Unless he has a burn. If he has a burn here, he can kill my guy in response and basically nullify my champion ability. Sweet. So Visages get in there. Attack for 9. It's basically just an elf with rage. We're playing Pyretic Performer and Sting Shot Snipers in this deck, so you're able to accelerate out those empowered cards with it sometimes, but Voice is mostly just an elf with rage, yeah. So there's this resource that draws them a card from this Lanupause site. Alright, got him. So the Pheromones is not good in this matchup, so we're going to cut that for sure. Crimson Bolt is great and gets to deal damage to troops. Gale Force, I still have Gale Force in this deck, that's pretty good. Gale Force deals 2 damage to each troop with flight, which is nice. Actually, I don't think I want to board. I don't want to board in too much slow interaction, or too much interaction and board out too many of our beatdown, basically. So I'm going to just board in those and leave in burns in this. I don't want to be too troop light, basically. I have to shave. I promised that people shave if they donated, and they donated. I am many things, but I am not a liar. So I'm going to go ahead and submit like this. right. Up a game. Up a game. Hope everyone's having a good morning, afternoon, or night, wherever you're at in the world. Thanks for choosing to spend part of your Sunday here with us. So we close out my 24-hour stream with some Hex TCG here. This hand's a little medium. The Gale Force is pretty good, so probably worth keeping. The Pyretic Performer and the Sting Shot Sniper's hand both need a second Ruby threshold. We're on the draw, though, so this is probably fine. To be fair, I'm very bad at winning opens. In fact, I currently hold the record for the most open top 8s without a win, which is not a record I'm particularly proud of, but it's a stat that belongs to me. Immediately drew a shard that can equate to an extra ruby shard. We want to hold this one in the bank, though, because if we draw another ruby shard, we'd much rather use this feral acorn to gain 3 life. Casper Bark with the brand new sub. Welcome to the stream, mate. I appreciate the support. Alright, he's not playing anything, which likely means there's a burn in his hand. I'm still going to play the Voice of the Ashwood out, because like, we're going to have to work our way through his removal at some point anyways. So might as well like get this guy on the board. If this doesn't die, if this dies, then maybe this won't die, then maybe this won't die, etc. You can draft in this game. This game has draft and sealed, and the drafting in this game works similar to Magic. You keep the cards you draft, and you draft on a table, basically. Yeah, you gotta remember, I'm bringing people with me, Immortals. All right, there's the Knob Gobbler. Let's see if he's got a burn or something for this, or maybe a Seeing Red. Arcane Focus. Okay, that means my Voice of the Ashwood's getting to live for a turn, which is great. Yeah, I don't play limited. It's much like Magic. I prefer the constructed aspect of Hex. He missed a point. Unless he wants to block the voice. He might want to block the Voice of the Ashwood here with his Bumblebot. This didn't use it. Okay, interesting. I'm putting my Feral Acorn out here and get a Ruby. So I'm going to go ahead and attack with my Voice of the Ashwood. I would be so bad fumbling around in a draft. So let's go ahead and crash in here. So this, when it hits my opponent, it's going to give me 2 resources, and Emberleaf Evoker's cost is going to get reduced by 2. So that means this will be 5, and we'll have 5. So we're going to go ahead and just play out this 5/3 here. I could see a world where it's better to go Pyretic Performer plus Soloist this turn, because eventually this will be free. We'll be dealing so much damage, but getting a 5-power guy on the table is pretty brutal. Limited has spiders. Yep, you're not wrong. He just said he keeps forgetting Bubblebots. It's definitely a real thing. Like, that was the thing I did the most when I first started playing Hex. I kept forgetting I had a champion ability to be using. Let's go ahead and play this out. I'm going to go ahead and activate my champion ability here. I'm going to target the Emberleaf Invoker because he can't kill this one with a burn. Nope, we're closing out the stream today with Hex. In fact, we are done with the Magic Onlines for goods. We've had enough over and out. Probably getting burned here. Is this going to connect? If this connects, that's insane. Wow, so that gives us 4 resources to use here. Yeah, I'm gonna empower the Sting Shot Sniper. So this goes from a 3-2 that deals damage to 1 random opposing champion or troop to a 6-4 that deals damage to 2 opposing champions or troops when it attacks. So this thing just does mad damages. And then we still have this Gale Force up, which is nice. But it's a Flickering Gallery guy. He's going to be real sad when I Gale Force him here. This list is an older list that I'm playing. A lot of people aren't playing Gale Force anymore. Alright, sweet. Well, we're 1-1 now. Welcome back, Sam, if you're back in the channel already. So, Pheromones was in the main deck because I wanted to have a lure effect against the Boris Blastforge deck. And I really don't... That deck's not super popular now, so I'm going to cut this to the board and I'm going to move a Periwinkle into the main deck. This card's kind of sweet. It's whenever you play a card that costs 5 or more, you copy it. So basically, if we have that out and we maw, we get 2 maws. We get 2 Emberleaf Invokers, 2 empowered cards. So, go ahead and save this change. Morning, Stank. Catching the tail end of the long one. Yes. This is, you know, Sam, you could feel better here. This is it's probably playing the Lixil deck. Just not getting 2 shard openers tonight. This hand's mediocre at best. We don't have a 2-drop or we just like start on 3. Doesn't seem good, but we're not going to 5, I don't think. Shard of Savagery is good. I didn't have a 2-drop to play anyways, and this at least means I can play the Periwinkle later, or other wild cards that we draw. Should normally wait until he's fighting before the overcommit before laying down the hate. Sure, it's about the same difference. He was moving to combat when I played it, so. Ooh, opponent's playing Uzu Cannon, not the Lixil deck, so we have a chance. So I'm gonna go ahead and play Sting Shot Sniper's great against, you know, decks that don't have a lot of removal in them. So this card can Sting Shot down my opponent's Azure Fate Sorceresses and other things of that nature. So my opponent's playing the deck that we played in our last gauntlet to a 3-3. The second Sting Shot Sniper here should be pretty good. And it's funny, I cut the Pheromones to the board. This is actually a matchup where we want Pheromones. You fell asleep at 2:30. That's okay. Welcome back. I understand it's a long night. I'm almost getting tired. I will say this: I was up for almost 24 hours when we drove home from. We played the second day of the Open, and then so we have a coin flip. So he's playing a different. He might be playing Uzu Cannon, So we have a 50% chance of this killing the Ruinary Hierophant when we attack. Come on. Come on. Win the coin flip. Win the coin flip. We lost the coin flip. Alrighty. Well, we tried. I'm just going to go ahead and play another Sting Shot Sniper out here and just try and beat him down in the air, basically. How good do I think the $20 burn deck actually is? I'm a 5-1, a 5-2, and a 3-3 with it. The deck feels really powerful. I felt like we ran pretty bad in the match that I went 5, and then the gauntlet I went 3-3 with. Alright, well, let's play this acorn out here and gain 3 life. And then let's activate my champion ability here to give all of my elves plus the power. Do I want a crackling bolt down this rhinoceros? If I crackling bolt down the rhinoceros, there's a chance that both of these kill this. But then I can't play out all my cards. Yeah, I'm just going to attack with both my Sting Shot Snipers here. And these deal damage to a random opposing... Alright, well, we killed the rhino. We did 3 there. That's not where we wanted to do the damage this time around. I'm actually going to kill my opponent's Puck here, because this card accelerates him based on the amount of fat troops he has in his hand. If he has a bunch of fat troops, that would be bad for us if he vomits them out. I'm going to go ahead and play this Ashwood Soloist and pass the turn. If my opponent has 5th resource Crocosaur here, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. And by that, I mean we probably just can't win the game. Alright, this card doesn't really matter. It doesn't look like he has another resource. That's sweet. I'm going to go ahead and block his 5/5 so he doesn't get a rhino. Attack with both of these. Oh, one dealt damage to my opponent's dude, and the other one dealt damage to him. Play this out. Play my Periwinkle out. I did see someone playing that. Let's see here. Okay, he found his 5th shard, so if he has the Crocosaur, he can eat both my Sting Shot Snipers. If he doesn't have the Crocosaur, we're in a great spot, obviously, because he's dead on board. If he attacks her with both of these, I'm not blocking. Just that. Yep, no blocks. And the reason why I'm not blocking here is because if he kills both my Sting Shot Snipers, I want to... okay, we'll see if he kills the Sting Shot Snipers or the Periwinkle and a Sting Shot Sniper. Kills both the Sting Shot Snipers, yeah. So the reason why I didn't block with the Periwinkle is if we hit a shard that makes a temporary resource, we can empower this Pyretic Performer, and then it gets doubled by this Periwinkle and creates 4 Scorchers to put in our hands. So shard, one-time dealer. Alright. Oh, that only makes a single Scorch, right? Alright, well. I needed that to block anyways, though, right? So we've got live draws now. Crackling Bolt was still live. Actually, Crackling Bolt and Shards killed my opponent there. Yeah, I'm going to block here because I don't want to get crocked post-combat. Although if he had a croc, he would have done it pre-combat and then killed me. Yeah, okay. Jaden. So, opponent's dead to shard that makes temporary resource or Crackling Bolt here. That's not what we wanted. It makes 2 blockers though, at least. We can play this and Periwinkle doubles it. Just like he's dead to shard for so many turns. 2 turns, I mean, but you know, it's a lot of turns. So this card gets +X whenever my opponent plays a non-resource card where X is that card's cost. So if he plays a 5-drop, this becomes a 10-10. If he plays a 6-drop, this becomes an 11-11. Rowan's ability is very powerful. Like, giving all of your cards an Anthem effect, basically, is nuts. It's going to be a swing with the team yet. And again, dead to Crackling Bolt, and he's dead to Burn too, right? Yeah, because Burn kills him too, because this makes a Scorch, Burn. So he's dead to Burn, Crackling Bolt, Shard that makes a temporary resource next turn. Got so many draws. So many things to kill you, opponent. So many draws. Just cracking us for 8 here, sure. Like, literally half our deck? Yeah, it's like over half of our deck, right? Alright, that was one of the things we were asking for. So we play this, make another Scorch. Go Scorch you, Burn you. Slow and steady. Just got under him just quick enough. Just at the last nick of time. That our reach is able to close out the game. And again, this is the type of matchup where Pheromones is good because my opponent would be required to block one of my things and the rest of them would be able to slip past here. So I'm going to board in the 3 copies of Pheromones, I think. The Periwinkle is not great, I don't think so. I don't know if I want Crackling Bolt or not. I don't think I do. I think I'd rather just have Burns and Crushing Blows. Again, I want to keep my troop count high. Don't want to board in a bunch of Pheromones and cut non-troops. I think Crushing Blow is better than Crackling Bolt. It's more resource efficient, and my opponent's often going to want to be blocking my things, and this allows me to blow them out in combat. It's possible I want the Ember Spire Witches because my opponent's going to be boarding in cards that say gain life. So yeah, I'm just going to do hedge 2 of those and cut all the Crackling Bolts. Let's give this a go. Actually, you know what? Maybe I should cut the Soloist. I often do that because my opponent, the decks like my opponent is playing often bring in the Cluckadon. I don't hate that. Just bring in all the Witches. Yeah, let's try that. Bring in all the Witches, leave some Crackling Bolts in. No 1-drops might be wrong, but meh. Yeah, Pyretic Performer is very powerful. It's kind of like a mini Flame Tongue Kavu, basically. It's, it's a troop that gives you value just by coming into play, and then, it can kill things, or it's even the fact that it's reach, too, is nuts. Like, we killed our opponent by burning them out that game, basically. On the draw this game, which makes it a little bit more of a challenge for sure. These would be better as 1-drops. I don't think this is a keep, even if those were 1-drops. I don't know. Yeah, Sand's medium, but it's a keep. Sting Shot on the draw is a little slow. Especially if he has an accelerant, which he does not. God bless. Alright, Maw of the Hunt. That's not bad. Really don't need Pheromones in a hand with flying troops, though. Chlorophilia? Puck, sure. Wish I had a Crackling Bolt or a Burn. Burn would be a great draw, so we can go this spin to Burn. Ask and you shall receive. I'm going to go ahead and play Shard of Savagery out here. And I'm going to get a Wild with this, just so we have that covered, because we're more likely... This deck is a Wild Splash, so we're far more likely to draw a Ruby Shard than a Wild Shard, because there's only 2 Wild Shards in the deck. And then if we don't draw a Ruby Shard next turn, we can just cash in our Feral Acorn here to get our second Ruby. And we drew a Ruby, like a professional. Play the old Sting Shot Sniperino out. Playing Uzu as his champion might just be the fact that he wants the 6 more starting life. The crested at 17 starting life total is definitely relevant. There's a lot of aggressive decks in the format right now. Like having a six life total bump with an ability that's occasionally relevant. I'm not sure if this is better than running like Benvolio though. All right, that sucks. So this is one of the cards that Burn is really good against. This is a 2/2 that gets to fight my Dork here, and he gains 2 life when he fights it. Missing a shard? No, rats. Another puck. Okay, kind of scary. This card accelerates so much. Alright, I'm going to play Sting Shot Sniper out. I'm going to gain 3 life with this Feral Acorn. And I'm going to go ahead and activate my champion ability here. I'd be surprised if he's running Azure Fate alongside the Hierophant. If he's got another thing to fight my stuff, that would be bad. I guess he does something big and scary. So this card makes a variable amount of resource depending on how many scary things he has in his hand. So I am hanging in there, Rogue. We got 4.5 hours left to go, you know? Slow and steady as the kid says. There's 2 scary things in his hand, so he got 2 extra resources from this. One's an Arboreal Newt Father with speed and damage, so we're taking 16 from this. This does 8 damage when it comes into play, and then it has a speed so it can attack right away. So I'm not blocking with my Sting Shot Sniper, so we're just going to go ahead and take another 8 here. Troops, troops, troops! Go ahead and attack with my Sting Shot Sniper here. And it killed Puck. Excellent. And this does damage to my opponent, and we get to put Maw of the Hunt into play. The rest of these cards in my hand aren't particularly great. I'm just going to go ahead and Crackling Bolt my opponent's dome to be a little aggressive here. If we keep drawing chump blockers for this will be okay. Maybe we don't want Pheromones. Maybe this card just isn't good. I'd be willing to accept that this card just isn't good and I shouldn't be playing it. I think I'm going to bring the 1-drop accelerants back in when I'm on the play for the 3rd game. If we get to a 3rd game. Hopefully we just like keep drawing off idiots to block this and we like beat him down with a Sting Shot Sniper. Periwinkle, okay. Alright, Sting Shot. Can you get the 1 and 3 again? Tag the Periwinkle. Yeah, we're just dead. Yeah, I'm gonna cut the pheromones on the play. Like I said, this is an older deck list that had some ideas in it that I hadn't fully tested. I'm not even sure if they're good. That's one of them. Look at Ember Spire Witch. Leave the more Crackling Bolts in. Got a Crushing Blow. +2 the Sniper. I mean, how are we gonna? So, yeah, okay. So, it's a really easy mistake to make. You can't Crushing Blow the Sting Shot Sniper before the trigger happens. So in Hex, triggers that don't target something don't use the chain, so you can't respond to them. So there's no point before the Sting Shot trigger resolves where you can Crushing Blow. If there was, that would definitely be a sweet line, but that's not how the triggers like that work in Hex. Why is Crushing Blow better than Wild Growth? Because Crushing Blow gives Crush. Crushing Blow is also easier to cast in this deck. Like, there's definitely games where we don't have Wild, but Crushing Blow gives Crush, which is insane with, like, Voice of the Ashwood here when we need to push through damage. It's relevant with Voice of the Ashwood, too. That's not what I want to see. Let's play Voice of the Ashwood. Crush is Trample, correct. That's your extra damage, but kind of push it over the top. Let's see if he's got his Puck on 2. Just Chlorophilia. That's fair casual. The problem is, on everything other than Sting Shot, I think the Crush is better. I'm going to wait a turn on this Pyretic. I could just play the Pyretic Performer out this turn, but we're likely, if this connects next turn too, we're going to be able to empower this, and I'd much rather do that. Hey, Neurogenus. Cheese Smythe. That card's annoying. Need to draw a Crackling Bolt now. I guess if we don't draw removal for this, I can play Pyretic Performer pre-combat and then burn plus Scorch that. Yeah, I think that's what I'm doing. Neurogenus with the 4-month resub. It's been a third of a year. Thank you. I appreciate that continued support. TMS broke Toaster. I've never played on OSX. Support.hextcg.com or their forums on their official site. You should be able to log in with your GameForge account on the forums. Are definitely the two best places to get support for Hex. So yeah, I think I kind of want to jam the Visage. I'm pretty sure he's just going to block if I attack, and I don't really want that to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and Scorch this, and then burn it, and then crack him for 4. These were non-shards would be in a great spot. As is, we're going to have kind of an uphill fight, probably. Yeah, I guess trying the non-Steam client's a reasonable suggestion as well. Crocosaur is going to be savage here. Croc trades for our 2 dorks, but he's still got 3 cards in his hand after that, and we've just got a Visage. I have Creation. Wow. So I have Creation reveals the top 2 cards of their deck and puts all troops found this way into play, and there were 2 troops of his top 2 cards. That's really gross. Crackling Bolt that one. Just gonna attack for 4 here. It does feel bad after drawing Visage. You're not wrong. And that one of them gained him for. I guess he could have found something bigger and scarier than the Cluckadon, but it still didn't feel great. Oh, God. Gain 4, draw 4. Gross. That explains why he didn't block last turn, because now he can block with this. What do I need to hit this turn? Crackling Bolt could maybe keep us in this game if his draws were bad. Because we can Crackling Bolt this, activate our champion power. 7th shard. It's probably the game. I guess we'll just pass the turn and play the waiting game, but this game's likely over. He's got 6 cards in his hand. Yeah, no, it's not, no pollutant. We're talking about Hex, that's fine. Yeah, I'm just going to concede to Croc. Too many shards. Oh, Shadow Zord. I wonder if it's crashing on your Windows 7 for the same reason it crashes under Wine. So, you could try... What is it? Let me find it. So there's one little thing. The store doesn't work by default on Wine. I have to edit one file. Where is it? I'm looking for the post now. I mean, they had a PTR test for this, so it got tested on a wider range of hardware, which is good. God, the wine TCG site is slow tonight. Yeah, their normal patch day is Tuesday, right? Tuesday into Wednesday. Waiting to queue, waiting to queue. That's the browser plugin that runs in the game that lets you buy currency in client. So if you get rid of that, you just can't buy currency in client, but everything else in the store still works. Silly Americans and their holidays. What do they think they are? Crackling Sprout as a replacement for Crushing Blow. What does Crackling Sprout do? I'm blanking on that offhand. It gives like 2/2, right? Or something like that, but it costs more, I believe, right? There's 2/2 and crush this turn, gain a charge. Huh. I kind of like that. That's kind of sweet. Maybe split the difference, 2/2. Like, activating Sir Giles' ability a turn earlier is very powerful. Huh. I haven't tested this card at all in this deck. I like the resource efficiency on Crushing Blow occasionally, but, like, this is better with Sting Shot Sniper. It still gives Crush, and it lets you activate the charge power more reliably. Yeah. Yeah, that's sweet. Alright, next time we play this deck, I want to make a few changes to this deck, and splitting that 2/2 seems like a great place to start. Ha! That's awesome. Shadow Zord, that'll probably help them debug the issue of why your thing's crashing. You might want to make an official thread with that. Because I don't make a bug report because they don't support Linux officially, so they're not interested in they're not interested in fixing that most likely. But if it's crashing on your Windows, it's because of the in-game the in-game browser, and you should probably, I'll probably fix that. Gore Master. Is that the you get another combat? The Gore Feast or Gore Master. When you gain a charge, because XX or X is this troop's power. I'm actually going to go ahead and run to the restroom really quick while I wait for this to queue. I haven't done that for a little while, so I'll be back in just a second, folks. Thanks for hanging out. We got another 4 hours, 15 minutes till we close it out.
Who's the giant charger?
Oh, this steak was huge. We change you?
Alright, we got one. Yeah, if you want to build a deck, you should look for a cheap deck on Hex Meta. Or actually, if you're looking for a good entry-level deck for Constructed, check these out. A few different price points there and easily buildable packages. This hand's medium. Think I'm going to keep this. That's tough. It's got a burn on one to slow my opponent's most aggressive starts down. Doesn't have a super aggressive start, so that's good for us. You'd feel much better about this hand if we were on the play, obviously. Ashwood Soloist. Slingshot Sniper is a good draw. The card's just very powerful. Yes, but Boros decks often have things to destroy things with flying, though. I know, you're being wronged. Alright, so he doesn't have a 2-drop here, which means he has the 3-2. Am I okay trading this? Yeah, this isn't getting bigger anytime soon, so yeah, I'm just going to offer this trade for his Brown Fox Scout here, and if he doesn't have it, then we just get in 2 points of damage, you know, all upside. And if he has it, he doesn't want to trade, just doesn't have it, sweet. Getting in those 2 points of damage is valuable. Has the Runear Hierophant. The 2/2 spell shield that makes rhinos. Super annoying. Play this out. Grab a wild threshold. I think my camera is lagging. Seems fine. I think I'm shipping with this and then playing one of these two. The question is, which of those two am I playing? I think it's the Sting Shot Sniper. Huh. Maybe I'm not even attacking with this. Although, yeah, I'm just gonna attack. Yeah, whatever. Don't stop swinging. Let's play the Pyretic Performer out here. This means he has to have, he has to give it flying in order to get past it. If he has a Sapphire Shard, though, he can give it flying, which is a little unfortunate. And again, then the board starts coming up, and then there's the Sapphire Threshold. So he's gonna jump his Runear. Probably do damage. He has a second Runear. Yep. This game just gets out of hand very quickly for me. So, yep. This hand probably wouldn't have even been good enough on the play. This is the matchup that Pheromones is in the reserves for. Because occasionally we can, like, you know, slip past the last few points of damage and be okay. Yeah, we're pretty dead here. Hex decided it had enough wine. No, come back, Hex! This is my normal disclaimer. People have heard this before if you've been watching me play Hex, so I'm playing Hex on a Linux computer via wine. Someone asked if that was the shadows underneath. It's impressive it doesn't seem to exhaust how I manage to keep focusing and all this good advice. You know, it's just second nature. It definitely helps that it feels like second nature. I've been doing this for a while. Periwinkle's not great, and I think we're trimming a couple of the crackling bolts. I could go either way. Yeah, probably the crackling bolts are a little bit slow. The burns are definitely more powerful than the bolts. And again, I don't want to trim troops because we need to keep our troop density high in order to actually pressure with our aggressive deck. We're using the block. Yeah, I mean, like, if we're blocking, we're losing most of the time, but I understand. I don't think Wild Growth is good. I think the one that gives the crackling growth sounds hot, though. Maybe we split the difference and play some Wild Growth and some crackling growth. I'm going to keep this because I'm greedy. And by that, I mean I'm tired and I shouldn't have. I guess if we draw any other shard, this hand's reasonable, especially if we hit a wild shard for next turn, we get turn 2 Maw. I just have a hard time passing up a hand that's a potential turn 2 Maw. The no hard drugs came in flavor star. Yeah, you can cut the drugs with whatever you want. It's great. Cut them with cherry, cut them with lime. If we get a ruby shard, we can play Pyretic Performer on 2. Sweet. Never didn't have it. Maybe. The problem with giving 6 slots to tricks is that I'd have to cut something like Crackling Bolt or Burn for it. And without Crackling Bolt and Burn, then you have less removal. But maybe I just don't need as much removal game 1. Would Gale Force be useful against Boris? Yeah, I've got 2 Gale Forces in my reserves. Gale Force is just... oh, against Boris. Sorry, I'm thinking McBombus. I don't know. I'm always split. It's... I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky. So lucky. We are done with Magic Online for the foreseeable future. Gale Force is good against the Boris deck for a very, very small window, and our deck doesn't always have a ton of wild resources, so that means that window's not always going to be great for us. Hopefully he goes Wild Shard, Runir Hierophant this turn. Do it. Play your Scary Rabbit. Because you know what? Yeah, my Maw of the Hunt, he's got some wicked pheromones on him. Some wicked pheromones. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, you stanky, Mr. Maw of the Hunt. Get your stanky leg over here and wander on over and beat that little Runir Hierophant down with the stanky leg. Yeah, activate my guy. And crush. Not literally, none of these guys have crush, but you know, figuratively crush. Remember that time I kept the one charter and then we hit 4 shards in a row? You know, whatevs. NBD. Gobble, gobble. Sweet. Took a game off him at least. Pheromones did what we wanted to do. Yeah, exactly that, the will time. You hit the nail perfectly on the head. Wakuna Matata, boom, boom, boom. You are still dead, boom, boom, boom. Wakuna Matata, light him up on fire. Ba-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da, hey. Wakuna Matata, bo-do-do. Morning, the Gravecrawler. Hopefully he has another slow start. We need a slow start in order to get under them usually. And you know what? The thing I'm most excited about not streaming Magic Online is just not worrying about that anymore. I'm not going to have to post screenshots of issues because I'm frustrated with it. I'm not going to feel the need to say, hey, this doesn't work, etc., etc. -3 cards out of his hand were gone. Well, you were very lucky because normally Curse of Oblivion is not good. This hand's so medium. It's got a Soloist on the draw, though, and it's got a burn to slow down his turn one. Turn 1 if he's got it. Well, that's not a good start. I am still playing Paper Magic, yep. Plan to play. I have a plane ticket to the Open in Worcester this coming weekend, in fact. I'm going to play this out. Gain 3 life here. We already have these other shards for our thresholds that we might need. I'm going to go ahead and ship my Soloist in here. If he flashes in, his idiot will burn it before blocks. I'm going to go ahead and just Crackling Bolt his Dome now. I don't think he has anything in it that he could play out that we want to Crackling Bolt. Probably going to play a silly Hierophant next turn, just like no play till turn 3. Unfortunately, we didn't have a strong turn 2, so his just Hierophant turn 3 on the play is probably going to be good enough this game. Yeah. He has that Hierophant on 3 or 4 every game, though, right? I'm blanking on what happened game 1, but I feel like he's had it every game. Let's go ahead and do this. Go ahead and attack. So this is doing 2. Doesn't put me up to... This is 2, which puts this down to 5. If I burn... Yeah, okay. So I can just hit him with this. And then I can burn. So this card gets cheaper for every damage we do to my opponent. So burn nets us a resource towards this Emberleaf Invoker. Because it does 2 for 1. So we can play this Emberleaf Invoker this turn. I think I want to save the Crushing Blow so I can Crushing through the Rhino or whatever he plays to block next turn. So he gets in here. That was sloppy. I should have played this one that makes doesn't make a temporary resource. We're not going to use it anyways. Looks like we're just losing this one though. He's got a lot going on here. Yeah, and the Hierophant's just going to run away with the game. Maybe I need Zigamot's games in my reserves. Rough gauntlet.